Do you know that God has a pattern of worship? Wait, He has doctrines. I mean, the doctrine of God is completely out from each and every doctrines that you have ever known from any place, from each and every worshiping centers. Yes, various churches. Their doctrines is not and has not and can never be the doctrine of God. The doctrine you see there are the doctrines that will be palatable to them because their movement with God is in the flesh, not in the spirit. The doctrine in there is the doctrine that will be suitable. Yes, remember that this seems like a business, and each business has his interest, and the interest is to gain, right? So any form of rules, let me use that word, rules, that you are forming in this business must be the rules that will at the end, in one way or the other, make profits. You understand? At the end, one way or the other, bring forth profit. So if that business is not yielding, that particular interest will not benefit the seller or the businessman, he will not be part of it. You understand? So this is how it works. So when it comes to physical pattern or physical worship, they have interest. Number one interest is to make money. Number two interest is to get population, because more population is the more profits. Okay? And number three is to keep the population. Yes, that is why they can even come to your house, you understand, to check on you, call you several times. Or even sometimes when you go to some places of worship, they even give you drinks, they give you soda, they give you even snacks. You understand? Because they want you back. You understand? So now they will, this is the way it was. So now their interest is how to make that profit, to make that money, and to get more population or more numbers of people, and also to retain them. So the interest has never been your soul. It might look in the surface as though the interest is of your soul. No, but I tell you for free, the interest of each and every of the worshiping centers, physical worshiping center, has never been your soul. They don't care about your soul. Yes. That is why you discover that in the same place of worship, you have gossiper, you have gossips, you have fornicators, you have all sorts of things going on under the same roof. Why? And there is no any means of purging them. There's no any means of purging them. So everybody is accommodated. If you're a fornicator, no problem. A scammer, you are accommodated. Everything you are accommodated. Yes. But let me tell you, you may say, oh, why? After all, sinner, God Christ is for the sinners. Yes. But not for perpetual sinners. Not for people that want to continually remain sinners. It's for the people that, yes, it's for sinners to bring it in and to what? Perfect you with his own to perfect your imperfection with his own perfection. So he's going to use his perfection to perfect your imperfection. So, but when you comes and you perpetually remain imperfect and you are not even bothered about it, after all, some people will tell you, when you sin against God, ask for forgiveness, he will forgive you because he's a compassionate and a merciful Father. You know, these are what you normally hear to encourage you to continue to sin. After all, man cannot be perfect. You know, without sin, there will be no forgiveness. These are the kind of words you will be hearing, encouraging words that comes to you to encourage you to continue and perpetually remain a sinner. Forgetting that no spot or wrinkle shall inherit the kingdom. You have forgotten that no spot or wrinkle shall inherit the kingdom. Have you also forgotten that an iota of sin in you corrupts your entire spiritual system? Have you forgotten that 1/4 on one sin have voted all the sin? Have you forgotten that? So all these things are the way to encourage you, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, preconsciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, to encourage you to perpetually and or continually to sin even without your knowledge. Yes. In the other way, they are encouraging you. In the other way, they are claiming to bring you to Christ. So this has been an error. This has been an error. But the time has come. The time of purging has come. That is for the person or the people that want to be purged. Yes. Because remember that it is the pure in the heart that shall see God. So in other words, it's the spiritual purged in the heart that shall receive God even unto perfection. In other words, it's only the purged, spiritual purged in the heart, or spiritual circumcised in the heart. The spiritual purified, they are only the people that can inherit eternity. So the time has come. Do you really want to be purged? Or are you comfortable with that your pattern of worship? Yes. The pattern of man, the pattern or the doctrine of man, which they have already on their own because of their own interests. Yes, because of their interests. And when they make it, and it be as though the doctrine is hard on the flesh. It's hard on the flesh. You will see them amending it. They will see that they are amending it so that they can bring in more flesh, so that it will be at ease, or it will be easy on them. But let me tell you the truth. A gold is not known to be gold, or rather, a gold loses his features without passing through furnace. What am I saying? For a gold to be a gold, it needs to pass through fire. For you to be God, you need to pass through affliction. You need to be purged. For you to be God, you need to be purged of this particular nature of evil that we have. This nature of humanity, this physicality, this carnality. You need to be purged of it, because God is not physical. Neither is he carnal. Neither is he worldly. Neither is he sin. God is no longer sinner. So the time for you to be purged, so that you can be able to meet up to the spiritual standard of God, has come. But the ball is at your court. Do you really want to be purged, or you are contented with the pattern and procedures that you have been applying without seeing any form of spiritual changes in you? You don't see any form of spiritual advancement, any form of spiritual changes. There's no any form of spiritual transformation. Yes, because God has his own purpose. He has his goal, and this is the goal of God towards you, that you become like him. And if there be any way you are following the spiritual due process, or maybe you are following the doctrine of Christ, yes, if that be the case, you will discover that you are in your life in God. You will see yourself living the nature of man and going into the nature of God. You will discover that you will become more spiritual instead of more. You don't need to start to pray and fast, because that is the mentality that they have. Yes, the mentality is that when you pray and fast, then you become spiritual. But after all said and done, what happened? After you have fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, what happened after 5 days? After 1 week, you will quench like fire. You will discover that is not the remedy, but because it is an easy way, you keep it on. That is not the remedy for you to transform, because you suppose the qualification, or rather the standard, is that you must be God. That is the only way you can have eternal life. So now, and you are, whatever you're doing with God in the name of worshiping him, you are not seeing any form of spiritual transformation that is moving you out from the nature of man into the nature of God, whereby God is spirit and you are physical, and yet there is no. And remember, when we talk of you are physical, we're not referring to your outward existence, okay? Because this is what gets some people confused. Your physical body is not you. Your physical body is not you. It's never you. Your physical body is just the clothes that you are putting on. Your physical body is just the carton that contains you. Your physical body is just the house that houses your spirit being, which is your soul. So when we are talking that, when we are saying that you will not be physical, we are not referring to your physical body. We are referring to your soul. Your soul will cease to be physical. What does it mean? He will completely die to the interest of the things of the flesh, to the interest of the things of physical. He will no longer be interested. He will completely grow cold. He will not. I will lose interest on the things that man go gaga on the things that men hold so. Tenaciously. They do not have interest in them. In fact, completely, and it becomes a life in them. You will see that the things. Those areas that you think makes you a human, they detest and hate it. They don't want them. They despise them. It disgusts and irritates them. You see. So now their inward man is completely getting disconnected from the things of the physical, from the physical realm, and the things that is of the physical realm, including your physical body, physical mother, father, brother, sisters, wife, children, and what have you. That's the way it works. Now you see that your spirit man is anchored and focused and dedicated on the spiritual, how God can be formed in me, in this soul, in that soul. That is the only problem and the only pursuit that he has. He is not interested in any other thing. So you discover that he becomes so spiritual and no longer physical, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the doctrine of Christ will make you become like Christ, but the doctrine of man will make you become like man. They remember that the doctrine of man is man-made, but the doctrine of Christ is God-made. So you need to know this. You need to understand it. These are what we have been trying to explain to you. You have been worshiping, but it's painful that you have been zealous for nothing. You have been sincere sincerely wrong. You have been striving for nothing. You have been worshiping in vain. Why? Because your worshiping pattern has been. So you see that